If they crash in enemy territory and the code is cracked, the country will suffer huge losses. The general orders a joint force with special troops for a confrontation. They must retrieve the classified files. Currently, security's no threat like a tiger's tooth. Hurry up! Scorpio launched a cross-border mission, big strong-handled logistics at base. They reached enemy borders that night like movie spies. They turned off the car lights and moved like cats in moonlight to avoid becoming torches whatever a covert operation. Suddenly, the tire goes on strike. Liu Bo turned in the flashlight to check for damage. In the midst of the chaos, Liu Bo and the youngster felt something was off. They were dozing off. Liu Bo and the mustache man got separated. Lan Eoshin, the special team leader, fired a rocket launcher at the enemy like a tiger. Taking advantage, everyone fled for their lives, leaving Liu Bo a chance to catch his breath. But little did they know, a cliff was right ahead to talk about. Fortunately, the protagonist Glow wouldn't abandon them. Over here, Walter learned through satellite phone that they were fine, but they'd strayed off course. Subtitles, he ordered them to wait. After a night's travel, they arrived to find the jet a mere plain puzzle. The pilot was burnt to a crisp. That's when Walter noticed something weird. How could the most advanced stealth jet have a 3-year-old hard drive? Clearly, the jet's secret files were stolen and Morgan found blood nearby. How could the body leave the plane alone? The rebels must have taken the files and the pilot. The team decided to switch their mission from scouting to rescuing. But with limited manpower, they were about to rattle some snakes in the grass. Walter located the black box via satellite. Everyone left at once. The crew smelled spoiled food, tossed it aside in disgust. The food was indeed a big issue. The special ops team was all confused. They stumbled upon a minefield. Walter told them to stay close. It was like playing a real-life game of Minesweeper. Mines leak corrosives, leaving nothing above. They jumped to spots with grass/flowers for safety and breezed through the minefield. Masters indeed. As they neared the exit, Captain Lan Eoshin stepped on empty ground beside grass frozen by the real feel. Walter bent down to check. As it turns out, this mine not only had a pressure change but also a 30-second countdown. Lan Eoshin urged everyone to hurry, but Walter insisted on disarm. Everyone's scalp went numb, but thankfully it was a dud. As night fell, they raced to the rebels' base according to the coordinates. Time to gear up for battle. They had to sneak in quietly, otherwise the consequences would be dire. Lan Eoshin brought Walter close to the camp, moving like ninjas. But when they kicked the door, it was completely empty. Was the intel wrong? The two were baffled. Just then, Walter noticed a manhole cover in the center. They lifted the cover to hear eerie wails inside. They made their way underground to see the pilot being tortured by rebels. Looks like they hadn't fully cracked the documents yet. Lan Eoshin was about to act when Walter stopped him. He accidentally turned on the power. Disaster follows. They could only eavesdrop in a corner. Meanwhile, Morgan was looking for a ride to rescue them and found a junky old car. He tried starting it, but it refused to budge. Talk about a cannon on wheels. Back at the base, Big Strong, who was staying behind, learned about this incident and started racking his brains, inquiring what items they had with them. This really felt a bit like playing the game of Who's the Mole. Sprayed toilet paper into a belt for a fan. Right then, Walter's group was spotted by the rebels. Looks like there's no escaping this one. Mulling Lan Eoshin with words, Simbel was putting on an acting show. Walter can't hold back. I'm a software expert. Let it go. He'll unlock files and we'll be friends. Simbel obeyed and let Walter operate, who then triggered the self-destruct sequence until completion. The hard drive suddenly went blank. Lan Eoshin stormed in like he owned the place, taking down enemies left and right without even blinking. Just then, Simbel pulls out a gun from behind. But being too far away, he reluctantly had to put it down. At a crucial moment, Walter seized the opportunity, dumping a barrel of fuel and setting Simbel ablaze. Lan Eoshin made a split-second move, shot the big pistol, and the two escaped with the wounded pilot. Now that's quick thinking. As they left, Liu Bo and the little mustache were already waiting outside, and the performance could only be described as an outstanding team. Scorpio once again used their IQ to save the country from immeasurable losses. They are like real-life superheroes. The secret nuclear base in Iceland got hacked. 50 nukes automatically entered launch sequence. What a spooky turn of events. Soldiers were trembling in fear, but luckily, they didn't crack the final password. Talk about those little clouds in the sky. This incident alarmed high-ranking officials in the National Security Department, and the Scorpio team was urgently summoned to investigate. Talk about a fire brigade in Walter found in the code someone hacking nuclear alarms. Insane. Is Superman bad? Everyone was baffled. Then Morgan brought back a vivid memory from when the president was shot at, and the Secret Service took the bullet for him. In the chaos, the president made this spectacular exit, but the Secret Service agent's briefcase mysteriously vanished like a treasure that disappeared. A suitcase was called the football, containing all the nuke launch codes and coordinates, always got to be by the president's side. They thought that suitcase was lost, but now it seems it's been in the hands of the bad guys this whole time. It's been a fantastic journey. Foe waited 16 years, could finally hack in, almost succeeded. They are no pushovers. Once the password is cracked and the remote launch button pressed, it'll spell global disaster like something out of a movie. To defuse the risk, they found the Secret Service agent who took the bullet for the president, but his brain got hurt and he couldn't remember a thing, just like memory loss. Little Mustache, a medical genius, knew it wasn't memory loss, it was the brain subconsciously sealing off that part of the memory like pulling a rubber band. A little Armenia quartify Aima let us receive a nudge and he recalls everything. They grabbed batteries and wires like Dr. Frankenstein. Based on the conditions of that day, they heated the room to over 20 degrees. How could anyone wear gloves? This narrowed their search range significantly. Morgan led the clever crew to the archives, but after a search, they found no blue fingers. What a friendship gap. Subtitles. At this moment, they unexpectedly discovered that a secret agent had heart disease because he had used nitroglycerin on the day of the incident. Did he conceal his illness for the sake of being selected as an agent? This is simply too dramatic.